The chains they forged. The twin sons of Halcyon. 6 dipped beneath the horizon, casting golden hues over the quiet colony of Haven's Reach. A gentle breeze rustled the silver-leaf trees as children laughed in the distance. It was a world untouched by war, a paradise carved out by pioneers, protected under the fragile peace humanity had brokered with the wider galaxy. Inside a modest prefab home nestled among the trees, Mira Jackson stood at the stove, humming to herself. Her rounded belly pressed gently against the counter as she stirred a pot of synth vegetable stew. Across the room, her 6-year-old son, Eli, sat cross-legged on the floor, animating plastic soldiers in mock battle. "Dinner in 10 minutes," Mira called, brushing a lock of auburn hair from her face. "Does Dad get to eat with us tonight?" Eli asked, his eyes hopeful. Mira smiled softly, masking the ache in her chest. "He's out helping people, remember? But he promised he'd be back soon." Eli nodded, satisfied. He worshipped his father. Not that she could blame him. K. Jackson was the kind of man stories were written about. A former Terran Special Forces operative turned freelance security contractor, his reputation was whispered across fringe systems. Unstoppable, unyielding, a ghost wrapped in armor. To Mira, though he was just Cade, the man who built her a greenhouse in zero gravity when she was pregnant with Eli, who sang lullabies off-key and danced like a fool when no one was watching. Her hand instinctively went to her belly. The new baby stirred. She turned back to the stove, and then the sky exploded. A deafening boom shook the foundations of the colony. The lights flickered. Outside, a deep crimson glow lit up the treetops as something vast and burning tore through the atmosphere. Mira froze. Her neural comm clicked. A deadline. She tried the emergency beacon. No signal. No satellites. From outside came the sound of people screaming. "Eli, closet, now, but, now!" She scooped him up and rushed to the reinforced utility closet, the one Cade had lined with plasteel and hidden circuits. She kissed him hard on the forehead. "No matter what you hear, you don't come out until I open this door. Understand?" His lip trembled. "Are they bad people?" "Yes." He nodded. "I'll wait." The door sealed with a hiss. Mira turned, and the front wall of the house exploded inward. A massive figure stepped through the smoke, chitinous limbs clicking, compound eyes glowing like molten lava. An Arcanese slaver, insectoid and cruel, armored like a tank. Behind him, smaller figures skittered into the home, weapons raised. Myra's eyes narrowed. Her hands slowly rose. "I'm unarmed. I'm pregnant." The Arcanee barked a response in its harsh tongue. A translator clicked on its shoulder. "All the better. Slaves with high reproductive viability fetch premium value." Mira backed up slowly. "You don't want to do this." Another Arcanee clicked a datapad and frowned. "Name, Mira Jackson. Designation, spouse of Cade Jackson." The room froze. A lower-ranking slaver hissed. "That's his mate?" The commander waved a claw. "Myths. Propaganda. The Terrans embellish. Even if true, he's not here." Myra's voice was a whisper. "You made a mistake." The commander struck her across the face with a stun rod. Myra's vision swam. She collapsed. Behind the wall, Eli held back a scream. The slave transport reeked of oil, blood, and despair. Mira came to in a metal cage, wrists bound, a collar tight around her neck. Her abdomen throbbed where they had hit her. Across the dim bay, cages full of aliens, humanoids, reptilians, insectoids, stared back with lifeless eyes. She spotted Eli in a smaller cage beside hers, terrified but alive. "Mom," he cried, reaching out. "I'm here, baby. I'm here." She pressed her fingers through the bars until his tiny hand met hers. The door opened with a hiss, and an Arcanee warden stepped in. "You'll be processed at Sector 12. Don't resist." Mira glared at him. "You're not going to live to see Sector 12. He laughed. Bravado. Typical human arrogance. "No," came a raspy voice from another cage. "Not arrogance. Ignorance. They don't know who she is." An older alien, scarred and half-blind, looked straight at the warden. "You took his mate, the ghost of Eridani, the widowmaker of Helion Prime." Do you even know what he did to the Zarn fleet? The warden scoffed. The human boogeyman? You think we fear bedtime stories? You should, the old alien muttered. He's not a story. He's Reaper-born. Meanwhile, in deep space, thousands of kilometers away, aboard a black, silent ship shaped like a dagger, a signal pulsed through the void. Location: unregistered stealth frigate, codenamed Spectre. Alert: spousal distress beacon activated. Status: signal confirmed. Origin: Haven's Reach. Inside the command cabin, a lone man sat in the pilot's seat. Cade Jackson, eyes like cold iron, muscles coiled like steel wire. His face was expressionless, but the tremble in his hands betrayed the storm inside. He replayed the final moment of the beacon. Eli Closet, now you don't want to do this. Static. He stood. Spectre, he said to the ship's AI. Bring up all slaver traffic near Haven's Reach. Working. Arcani Syndicate vessel Gortash logged, departing 12 minutes post-incursion. Destination? Encrypted. But they'll stop at a hub. They always do. Cade opened a weapons locker. Guns of all shapes and sizes gleamed in the darkness. He picked a matte black rifle, customized. Then a blade forged from neutron-dense alloys. A grab belt. A stealth harness. A chip implant. This was no longer a rescue mission. It was war. Back aboard the slaver ship, the Arcani commander stood in the control room, watching Mira and Eli on the monitor. She's spirited. May fetch better price on the prime circuit. Another slaver grunted. If he comes, we'll be ready. Let him come. I want to see the fear in his eyes before we gut him. None of them noticed the second signal transmitted moments earlier from Myra's neural link, a code Cade had hidden in her wedding band, triggered by her heartbeat spike. None of them noticed the shift in their sensor array. A shadow was already following them through the dark. Vengeance has a name. The asteroid, known as Black Spire, floated like a rod in the void. Armored, fortified, and humming with the filth of commerce built on misery. Deep within its belly, the slave markets pulsed with activity. Alien bidders filled the viewing galleries, eyes glinting with greed. Behind the scenes, Mira Jackson stood on a platform, wrist-bound, flanked by 2 Arcani guards. Her belly ached. Her lip was split. But her eyes burned. In a separate cage, Eli sobbed quietly, surrounded by energy bars. His small fists beat the walls when they pulled his mother away. I'm okay, baby, Mira shouted. Just stay strong. Daddy's coming. A Sarek auctioneer raised a voice amplifier. Next, fertile human female, bonded to combat class genetic mate. Rare stock. High resistance. Bid starts at. The lights flickered. Then they died. The auction floor plunged into silence. Confused murmurs filled the air. The Sarek tapped his comms. Control, report. Static. In the control room above, screens went black. Then one flickered back on. A single symbol appeared. A skull over crossed wings. The Arcani commander paled. Impossible. A voice came through the PA system. Low, cold, and human. You should have run. The slaver commander world. Seal the platform. Arm all guards. Find the human. But it was too late. 2 minutes earlier, in the vacuum above Black Spire, a black dagger-shaped ship floated, invisible to all scans. Inside, Cade Jackson stood in his armor, sleek, obsidian, humming with power. His rifle magnetically locked to his back. At his hip, a blade long enough to bisect a slaver. Spectre, he whispered. Yes, Commander. Drop cloak. Punch a hole in the bay. We're going in quiet. The AI paused. Quiet, like last time on Carthus 9, when you detonated a reactor core? That was quiet. I left 2 walls standing. Very well. With a low hum, a breach pod ejected from the ship and rocketed toward the asteroid's underbelly. Now, a thunderous boom rocked the lower levels as a corridor wall exploded inward. Smoke billowed. Silhouetted in the glow of fire, a figure stepped through the breach. Cade, the first Arcani guard fired. The slug hit Cade's chest and bounced off. Cade returned fire once. The Arcani's head burst open. Cade advanced through the corridor like a phantom, his HUD tagging hostiles, his reflexes flawless. He moved like he had done this 1,000 times because he had. One by one, slavers fell, gutted, crushed, silenced with surgical precision. He broke necks with his bare hands, ripped weapons from claws, and turned them on their owners. When he reached the slave pens, the guards barely had time to scream. He ripped open the cage where Eli huddled. "Daddy!" Cade fell to one knee and scooped him up, cradling the boy against his chest. "You okay, soldier?" Eli nodded fiercely, tears streaking his face. "I didn't tell them anything. I was brave. I know you were." He kissed his forehead. "Now stay behind me." On the auction platform, panic erupted. Slavers pushed back, some trying to flee. Others drew weapons. Mira used the distraction to elbow her guard, ducking a stun blast. She grabbed the electrified baton and fought like a feral beast, but exhaustion dragged at her limbs. Then the ceiling caved in. Smoke, screams, a blur of motion, and then he was there. Cade, his blades swept wide, decapitating a Sarek. He fired 2 rounds, center mass, into another. The final Archon dropped his weapon and raised trembling arms. "Mercy!" Cade grabbed him by the throat and slammed him into the wall. "You took my wife. I didn't know, and you tried to sell her. I'll give you credits, a ship, anything. You already gave me something." "WH what?" Cade squeezed until bones cracked. "A reason." He dropped the corpse. Mira stared at him, battered, bleeding. "Took you long enough." Cade smiled despite himself. "You had a head start." They embraced hard. Cade placed his hand on her belly. Mira nodded. "Still okay." Kicking like hell. He looked at her, fire dancing in his eyes. "Let's go home." But it wasn't over yet. As they fled the platform, the station's alarms blared. A full lockdown was triggered. From above, 3 heavy Archon enforcers dropped onto the deck, twice Cade's size, with plasma halberds and reinforced armor. One of them spoke. "You won't leave this place." Cade set Eli down behind a blast door and handed him Myra's comlink. "Seal yourself in. Do not come out, no matter what." Eli nodded, eyes wide. Cade stood and drew his blade. "Let's dance." The enforcers charged. The corridor lit up with blue energy and blood. 15 minutes later, the command core of Black Spire ignited from within. Fire consumed every slaver aboard. Cade had set their own power coils to overload. Mira, Eli, and Cade raced through the hangar toward his waiting stealth ship. Behind them, explosions tore through the station. They boarded just as the docking clamps failed. "Spectre," Cade barked, "get us out." Coordinates locked. Departing. As they slipped into FTL, the view screen showed Black Spire disintegrating, slag to molten debris. In a med bay, Mira lay on a cot. The baby's vitals were strong. Eli clutched her hand. Cade sat beside them, his armor scorched, one eye bruised, knuckles bloodied. "I thought I lost you," Mira whispered. "You never will," he said. "What happens now?" Cade looked out the viewport. "Now, we tell every slaver in the galaxy one thing." He stood, walked to the console, and tapped into the stolen Sarek database. "You took the wrong family." He hit send. Encrypted data surged through the network. Every hidden slaver hub, every trade route, every name. The empire of chains would burn.